What's up, everybody? It's your girl Jess. How you doing? I hope you had a good weekend. I am back with another fake podcast. This time I'm going to be just kind of sharing my thoughts so far on Generation 3 of adulting. But before I get into it, I just want to make a quick announcement. This is a holiday week in the United States. It's Thanksgiving on Thursday. And I'm going to be traveling. Actually, I have to travel twice in the same week. So I'm going to be taking a break this week, a much needed break. I'll explain more about that later. But so enjoy your free week from me. Okay, so before I dive into my thoughts on Luca and all his ladies, I just kind of want to explain what's going on with me and the Piersons. I know it's been a while since I posted anything. Well, I posted something last week, but that was kind of special and off schedule and related to another collab that's going on with another simmer. Yes, I realize it's been a long time since I posted that story, and I know you guys miss it. I know adulting is not the favorite story, which is fine. I kind of expected that, and that's always a risk we take as storytellers when we have something going on for a long time and then we add something new into the mix. That's always the case. I've experienced it before and I understand. Everyone is basically here for the Piersons, and I'm very sorry that I haven't posted in a while. So I just kind of want to explain what's been going on with me so you understand that I'm kind of taking a little break. I haven't abandoned the story. I'm not giving up or anything. I just need a minute. So some of you may remember me announcing in June that I got a new job. Well, I got a new position. I'm at the same company, but I'm doing something not completely different. I'm in a completely different department doing the same job, kind of. Anyway, that's not important. So I started in June. That was a pretty easy month for me as they were trying to figure out what exactly to do with me and what I could do and where I fit in the team, because the team was kind of going through some changes then and whatever. So I basically have been nonstop busy from July until last week. I have never been so busy in my entire life. It's been fun, but man, wow. I just never thought I could be that busy. So, as a lot of you who are around my age and have jobs and you've been working it for a while, you understand that when you've been working all day, the last thing you want to do is come home and work again. And unfortunately, a lot of times putting Pearson posts together does feel like work because it requires a lot more brain power to produce than adulting does. Adulting is pure gameplay. All I have to do is turn on my game, play, and just watch the story unfold. And because I love writing so much, that part isn't work to me. It's fun. I know some of you have talked to me before offline and you're always like, wow, you do so much writing. How do you manage and all this stuff? And I'm like, it's fun to me. Writing the chapters is the best part for me. So it's not work at all. But the Piersons is not entirely scripted. There is a lot of gameplay elements in the story, even if it doesn't seem like it. It's there. I promise it's there. But it is a lot more scripted than adulting is. And so, I have to think about it a lot. I have to make sure the characters stay in character. I have to make sure that they have storylines that are going to be worth your time and make sure they, have good lives. And good lives don't mean that they're without struggles. So I have to figure out what their struggles are and how they overcome them and what's next down the road. And, it's like writing a book. And over the last few months, I just have not felt like doing what it takes to do decent posts in that story. So that's why you've been seeing adulting pretty much consistently because, that's just where I'm at. Right now, I need some fun in my life. I've been working a lot of overtime hours trying to get stuff done at work. And, I just need a mental break. I just need to check out for a minute. And adulting has been super fun, which is what I really want to talk to you guys about. So, yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know, because I know a lot of you out there are concerned for the future of the Piersons. And I just want to let you know it's not in jeopardy. It's not. I'm actually itching to get back to it, but I just haven't felt that release yet that I need to get back into it. So I just need to indulge this fun period that I'm in before I get back started. So I can't tell you when that is. I'm playing it by ear on a daily basis. I tried to get back into it last week, but the game is dumb sometimes, and it was not cooperating with me. If you recall, Melanie and Nick are expecting some guests, and I was going to have the guests arrive, and I scheduled a stayover, and they just didn't show up. So instead of trying to troubleshoot and figure out why the stayover wasn't working, I was like, man, screw this. This is not what I signed up for when I turned my game on tonight. So I quit that save and went right back into adulting so I can just check out and have some stress-free fun. So, but yeah, I do anticipate having something before the end of the year because I'm going to have a lot of time to myself the week before Christmas. So we'll see what happens. I'm not saying that I'm going to wait until then. I'm just saying if worse comes to worse and I need like another month to get my life right, my mind right, I'm just saying that Christmas time would be the perfect time for me to do that because I'm going to have all the time in the world. Okay, so sorry that explanation took so long, but there you have it. That's what's going on. Forgive me, but I hope you understand. Okay, so Adulting Gen 3. Like I said, I have been having a blast with Luca. And I mean, hopefully you guys can tell, but the reason why I wanted to kind of talk about it is because things didn't start out so well with me and Luca in the beginning. I actually struggled with him a lot. I actually started playing with him a long time ago, like almost immediately after his birthday. So almost immediately after Gen 2 ended. I started playing with him because I wanted to go right into his life. And I'm sorry, my chair is so creaky. Hopefully when I edit this audio, I can get rid of that sound, but I probably can't. I apologize. Anyway, yeah, I started playing with Luca immediately because I was very excited about what his life was going to be like. And the issue was, I thought I knew what he was going to get into. And let me preface that by saying I don't script adulting at all. It is pure gameplay, but it just so happens that the previous two characters, I just had a good idea of what they were like already. And I had an idea of how I wanted to see the story play out, but I had to play to see if my theories are going to come true. So Amina came with a backstory. So her backstory basically led me through her gameplay and how she responded to things and how she thought and that kind of thing. And then of course Emmy, she was born in the game, so I had to figure her out. But I think I figured her out pretty quickly based on what Amina said about her, because, I couldn't play with her as a teenager, but I got to observe her, of course, through Amina. And, of course, her aspiration and her traits helped out a lot. So she came together quite quickly because her story wrote itself. She wanted to be a mother, and she loved dogs, and she had crushes on all these dudes. But Luca, he wasn't so easy. His aspiration is the self-care specialist, and he he didn't realize right away he wanted to be a yoga instructor, but of course we know now that's what he's doing. His traits are all right. I mean, he's active, he's outgoing, and something else. I mean, if I can't remember it, it's not worth it's not that it's not worth remembering, but it's not exciting. Hold on, let me actually look it up because I need to find out. Let's see. Okay, Luca is... Oh, right, duh. Self-assured. Okay, self-assured, outgoing, and active, and he wants to be a yoga instructor. Not saying that's not exciting, but it doesn't really tell me much about like how he thinks and how he operates. And on top of all that, he has this struggle that he's dealing with based on what he went through as a child. And so I had to wrap that in there somewhere. And he has the single and loving it lifestyle, which of course has complicated his whole adult life for me so far. So I struggled to come up with how I thought the story would go. And every time I thought I had an idea of what he would get into and how he would respond to dating and relationships, it just didn't feel right, Well, not that it didn't feel right, but every idea I came up with, they just weren't the right thing for him. Like, how it is like when you have an idea and it's the right one, like you just know it feels good to you, you're confident about it. I didn't have any of that. And so playing with him was really hard because I didn't have any direction, and I'm not a good player when it comes to just playing the game with just aimlessly playing the game. I do not do well with aimless gameplay. Like, I need to have a story in the back of my head that I can reference and know what the sim is saying. That's how things end up being funny to me, because even though they're speaking Simlish, like I know what they're saying according to the story that's playing out in my head. That's how we get these captions, Well, captions are in the Piersons, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah, so I struggled with him, and he was really boring because at first I was just gonna let him be autonomous so I can kind of see what he was like and all that good character development stuff. But he didn't do a whole lot. He would go outside, do yoga, he would do push-ups, play video games, watch TV, swim. That's pretty much it. So I was like, okay, cool. He's been away from school for a while. He's decompressed enough. Let's start working on his aspirations. So that's when I started taking him to the gym, and he started running into Dwayne. And, things started to come together a little bit, but it just wasn't working for me. And so I just stopped trying to figure him out. So, I will put the game down. Well, the game is in that save. I'll put the game down for a month or two and try and come back to it. And this back and forth went on for months and months and months. Until finally, earlier this year, when I decided that I really, really, really needed to get started, especially since a lot of you guys were looking for him, because there are some of you out there who adulting is your favorite story and you don't care about the Piersons, which is perfectly fine. I don't expect everyone to like everything I do. I would love for you to, but that's your thing. Do what you want to do. Yeah, so I wanted to get started because I was missing Luca and I was anxious to get his life started, and a lot of you were looking for him. And so I was like, okay, I need to figure this out because I got to get this story going, because I don't like having these big gaps between generations, but that's just how it goes sometimes, because I'm not exactly good at juggling multiple stories at once, even though that's what I've done my entire sim story life. So I was talking to a friend about what I was going through and my thoughts and the struggle, and I don't remember what she said to me, but she's very wise. And whatever she said, I was like, you know what? Screw this. Screw all my ideas. Screw all my so-called plans I had for his life and all that stuff. forget it. I'm just gonna open the game and just play and just see what happens. Just go back to my roots, like with Amina. I didn't plan anything for me. I just played the game and the story wrote itself. And that's exactly what I did. And I am having the most fun I've had in a long time in this game. What's really cool about it is that a lot of my original ideas I had for him, I've gotten to do, but they've come about in a natural way. I mean, not that I would have tried to force it before, because I wouldn't, but I would always have those things in mind and kind of play around to kind of make them happen. But now almost all my ideas I had have pretty much just fallen into place. One thing I wanted to do was get Luca and Allie together. I didn't necessarily plan for them to live together, but I did plan for him to want to spend more time with his dad and get to know him better, especially as an adult, and cultivate that relationship more. Not saying their relationship was strained, because it wasn't, but Luca the Sim definitely has a way better relationship with his mother than he does with Allie. So yeah, I wanted to get them together and to bond over something. And I wanted Luca to help Allie get more comfortable with the idea of dating. Now, true, he didn't necessarily do that in the story, but we saw Allie kind of come around to it, and he's been trying to hide it for a little while, like him texting all these friends on the phone. And then Luca finally got the courage to ask, like, dude, who are you talking to? Do you have a girlfriend? Like, come on. But yeah, basically the point of that was, when we're growing up, especially between our teenage years and early young adult life, our needs change as it relates to our relationship with our parents. When we're young, we really, really, really need our mothers. It doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl. Every child needs their mother. Now, depending on whether you're a girl or a boy, that might change. Like, maybe if you're a dude, you might grow up, like graduate from high school and go to college and start your job as a young 23, 24-year-old. Maybe you might feel like you need your father more because you're out in the world by yourself and you don't really know what to do. I know for myself, growing up, I was a daddy's girl, but the older I got, I'm talking about after I left home and went to college, the older I got, the more I realized how much I needed my mother, which was a very weird feeling for me because I'm like a hardcore daddy's girl. So yeah, just thinking about that and how things change. Like, we know Luca is a hardcore mama's boy. I mean, that boy loves his mother. But things changed. His needs changed. And so I thought it would be good to see him bond with his father more. And thank goodness, because he really needed that. Somebody told me recently that they felt like Luca was, not that he was immature, but that he, what did she say? She said that she felt like Luca was very naive and he came across as much younger than he really is. And it's true. I did that on purpose. Luca is very naive, and he's been up under his mother the whole time. Like, he graduated, had his birthday, and he never left home. And he didn't have a lot of friends, so he didn't get to hang around other teenagers and do what teenagers do. And he didn't have friends he went to the bar with and all that stuff. So yeah, I think it's natural that he didn't really grow up as much as he probably should have, or as much as his peers did. So yeah, I totally agree. He is a naive mama's boy. And that was done on purpose. The other thing I wanted to say was just, I've really enjoyed Luca meeting all these ladies and kind of being in his own personal hell. Because he has all these thoughts and feelings, and he really wants to do something about them, but he just can't get out of his own way because he's just frightened of becoming like his parents. And honestly, what the real deal is, he will never ever say this. He won't even allow himself to think it, but deep, deep, deep down, the real issue is he doesn't want to become his mother. He doesn't want to be in that situation at all. He doesn't want to end up like her. He's very cautious about who he hangs out. Well, not who he hangs out with, because he's pretty outgoing and he likes hanging out with a lot of people, even though he doesn't. But he's very cautious about what he gets into and what he does and how he comes across and how people see him and how he behaves and how his behavior would be interpreted by others, because he cannot become Emmy. Because probably he realizes that they're more alike than they both know, or maybe she knows it, but deep down I think he knows it too. But he knows he has the potential to end up like her because he's the child of both of them. He's a lot like Allie, but he's also a lot like Emmy, and he is just terrified of making her mistakes, because at the end of the day, even though he's a mama's boy and he loves her and he always gives her the benefit of the doubt, he knows it's her fault. She is the reason why he's in so much turmoil and pain. She broke up the family. But anyway, I didn't intend for this to end up like an unofficial dating show. It just kind of happened like that. And I didn't intend for him to meet all those ladies. I mean, I was never going to limit who he met and what he got into. I was totally open for him to do whatever it is he wanted to do. But I just didn't know that he was going to be bouncing in between 4 women at the same time. Wow. But okay, I just kind of want to go through all the ladies real quick, just to kind of prove to you guys how much gameplay is influencing this story. Because when I say this is a pure gameplay story, it's the truth. I might write it in a more dramatic way, and some things might be more realistic than what this save actually is. But I do that to tie it all together and to make it a cohesive story that makes sense, because sim things don't make sense sometimes. But one of the fun parts about writing this story is, for me, trying to make sense of the dumb sim stuff. So anyway, but before I say that, let me just say this. It was not my intention to have him slowly, what's the word I'm trying to say? It was not my intention to have him slowly scratch off names from the list. That was not my intention, but it just kind of happened that way. So Mayra, she took herself out of the race. At least that's how I'm explaining it in the story. But Luca is unflirty. Wait a minute. I think I messed up. Hold on. Let me check his little profile again. Okay, so I know what I did now. So Luca is actually unflirty, and I forgot he had one of those self-discovery moments. So he actually has 4 traits now. I think that's where... Let's see, he was always self-assured and active, and unflirty came when he had his young adult birthday. So I'm guessing outgoing was the new trait. I just forgot to put that on his little profile thing that I had. Anyway, so Luca is unflirty. So I tried to keep that in mind when I was directing him with the ladies. Usually when I'm trying to see if my sim likes someone, or if someone likes my sim, I'll have them flirt a little bit and just see what happens. Because a lot of the times the Sims won't flirt on their own unless they're romantic. So what I usually do is just get the ball rolling and then sit back and watch. So like I'll have them flirt a couple times and then just watch them go. But I couldn't have Luca do all that flirting because I wanted to keep him true to himself, because Luca is not someone who flirts, you know. That's why when he's with the ladies, he's not like trying to spit game at him or anything. And when he does say something to them, he's just really truthful. Like he says, I think you're beautiful. He's not saying that try and mac on him or whatever, but he's just stating his feelings and his truth. And his truth is, I see you and I think you're beautiful. If someone told me I had to get married right now, you will be one of the top ladies on my list. Like, that's a fact. He's not trying to get with him. He's just saying what's on his heart. And that's how I'm treating the unflirty trait with this Sim. He actually got that from his grandfather, Winston, because Winston was unflirty as well. Anyway, so I wanted to stay true to Luca, so I didn't have him flirt that much. But I had to make him flirt because things would not have started unless I did. So what I decided to do was only have him do like really simple, basic flirts. So since he was so attracted to all these women and he's unflirty and doesn't spit game, I decided that compliment appearance was always his go-to, because he's not afraid to tell a woman he thinks she's beautiful. So that was something I always used. I would also try just plain old flirt. That's pretty harmless. I did have to get a mod to help him out, because the vanilla unflirty trait, oh my goodness, it's a nightmare. Like, unless he's best friends with someone, he wouldn't feel good about flirting. Like, before I got that mod, he was tense all the time, and oh my goodness, it was a nightmare. So the mod I got made it so he was less tense about flirting, and giving someone a friendly hug would not freak him out. Now that was annoying. Oh my goodness. Every time he hugged Mayra, because you know, they're like good friends. Every time he would hug Mayra would reject him. And honestly, that was the whole reason for her freaking out on him the first time they hung out at the romance festival. Remember when he asked about her job and she totally flipped on him? That's what happened. He had tried to give her a hug and she was just not having it. I was like, I can't have his friends and his potential lovers freaking out every time he tries to give them a hug, because he's so freaking awkward. It was making playing with him a lot less fun. So I had to help myself out with that one. Anyway, so I would have him flirt like once or twice whenever they got together. And it's almost as if she was saying, oh, that's nice, because she just wouldn't respond. I mean, like, she wasn't rude or anything. She would just go on talking about whatever she was talking about before he stepped to her. They never developed a pink bar. And at a certain point, I just had to accept. I'm like, you know, maybe, I mean, not that I was trying to make things happen with them, but for a while, she was the only one. And I kind of liked her for him at first. That was before I knew that she was not interested in having a exclusive relationship. Goodness. Anyway, so yeah, after a while, I just had to accept that she was not interested in escalating things with Luca, and she just wanted to remain friends. So I was like, okay, cool. He had already met Yasmin by then and would soon meet Chi-Chi. And of course, Sophia was always in play. Even though I didn't show it, I mean, in hindsight, I wish I would have shown him communicating with her more. But honestly, when I first started playing this game with him, I wasn't even really thinking about her, because I was playing the game, not trying to write a story. So at some point, I remembered that I was writing a story, and she did exist. So I needed to get her back in the game. But anyway, yeah, so I had to let go of Mayra. So that's why she respectfully bowed out. And Yasmin, of course, let me tell y'all, that sim is one of the most persistent sims I've ever met. I did not create her. One day, I know this is going to be hard for you guys to believe, but sometimes I don't feel like making sims. I know, it sounds crazy, but there is such a thing as too much of a good thing. And sometimes I get burnt out on create a sim. So one day I was on the gallery looking at other people's sims and downloading ones I thought were good looking. And so I saw her, I was like, oh, she cute. So I downloaded her and she sat in my library for a long time. I had her set up to be imported through MC Command Center, just like I do every other sim I make, mostly. But MC Command Center never chose her. But then I started playing with Luca. And it's almost as if she was like, oh, he's cute. Let me get in this game. Because she imported herself into my game. She employed herself in the restaurant that Luca and Allie went to. Unfortunately, I just never got pictures of her. I got one picture of her because she was actually their server, but I didn't use it because it didn't fit the story. So unfortunately, you guys don't know that they actually kind of met before. But that's what that moment in the street was about, you know, when he said, hey, I know you. He really did know her. But anyway, she calls him. She shows up at the gym. And now that they're romantically involved, she calls him even more. I mean, this girl, she goes after what she wants. And I have nothing but respect for that. And I was kind of rooting for her because I was like, you know what? If you want it, go get it. And if you win, I will be happy to have you in the adulting cinematic universe. But opposites attract. And she relationally is not what Luca is looking for. Physically and appearance-wise, yeah, she is everything he wants. But they just wouldn't work well together. And I can't put him in a position to be in the same position that Allie was in. I just can't do that to him. I refuse. I let my Sims go through things to a certain extent. Some things for me are just off limits. And like, I'm not afraid to hurt my Sims and let them go through pain, because that's part of the process. The Sims have to grow too, just like people do. I'm not afraid to let them go through things, but I do have a limit. And for me, allowing Luca to be with someone who would not be faithful to him, nope, sorry. Not this boy. Nope. Maybe someone else, because, you know, I'm clearly I'm not beyond letting my Sims cheat and be cheated on. So, but not Luca, not this generation. One thing that I did want to be different this generation, I did not want to have yet another generation of marriage problems. It was fine the first time. It was fun. I enjoyed how that turned out. It was surprising the second time, but I was like, okay, cool. This isn't exactly the same thing that happened the first time, so I was cool with it. But that got exhausting. I mean, not that I didn't enjoy it, because I did, but that was a lot. I mean, divorce, wow, that was a lot with the kids and the custody. Thank God that was part of the mod, but wow, that was a lot. And I just did not want to go through a third generation of relational troubles. So I decided early on, true, I'm not going to make anything happen with Luca, but I can't allow him to be with someone that's gonna cause drama for him. I can't do another generation of that kind of drama. He can have drama everywhere else in his life, but just not that. So yeah, Yasmin, we're not gonna be pursuing her anymore. He might still have fun with her, but he has made it very clear they can't go anywhere. And Chi-Chi is yet to be... Chi-Chi is TBA. Or TBD. So, I mean, I know what's going to happen with Chi-Chi because I'm ahead, but I don't want to spoil you guys. So, but yeah, that took way longer than I anticipated. I didn't want to spend more than 20 minutes on this podcast, but y'all know I'm so long-winded when it comes to my stories. I'm not long-winded in real life, but when it comes to things that I'm passionate about, I can talk your ear off, and writing and Sims is two of those things. So I said all of these things to explain 2 points: why the Piersons aren't around right now, and why we're getting so many adulting chapters. I'm just having so much fun, and it's what I need in my life right now. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Y'all know I love your feedback. I would love to know how you're enjoying this generation. I feel like you're enjoying it less than Emmy and Amina, and I kind of understand why. Luca is a lot different from them. He doesn't have a lot, well, he has a lot going on now, but his story started off kind of slow and he didn't have much going on. And no one said this to me, but if you felt like it's boring, I get it, because, you know, I mean, things have to build up. But yeah, I would love to know how you're enjoying the story, and well, if you are. I know moving the story to WordPress was a bit jarring to some of you, and you know, I apologize for that too. I thought I was doing a good thing by trying to create a better reading experience. At least I think the WordPress experience is better. At least it's prettier. It's prettier, and it's easier for you guys to catch up, because there's a page that has all the chapters on it that I don't have to create. Like, I have it set up to curate those chapters every time I post one. It's very easy to navigate, and I thought you guys would enjoy it more, but you didn't. So I'm very sorry about that. So, but like I said, we're back on Tumblr. I'm not going to take it off Tumblr, but I will. Well, I post there first anyway for backup purposes. So, you know, like, I'm never going to stop posting on WordPress, but I'm going to come back to, I have come back to Tumblr. So hopefully that'll make some of you guys happy. But if not, you know, whatever. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to stop rambling now, because for those of you who listen to everything that I put out, you know how hard it is for me to say goodbye. And get off here. So I'm going to stop rambling and say goodbye. I hope you guys have a good week. Happy Thanksgiving to the Americans. Have a good weekend to everyone else. And I will see you when I see you. Bye.